Jake! Go Cookie! Go! Up the Rabbitohs!
Welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video, we will be reviewing how I went in round 16, and then I'll be giving you my round 17 tips. Super excited to jump in and see how we did. Before we do, guys, please hit that like button and subscribe. We just hit 6,000 subs, I think not last week, week before. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate all the support, but I can't grow without your help. So hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I really appreciate it. All right, let's get into it. So Friday night footy, I backed in the Storm to beat the Dolphins. I tipped Storm by 8. They won by 6. So a pretty good tip there from me. The Dolphins, I did say that they put up a fight in this one. I thought it'd be very competitive, and it was. Credit to the Storm, though. They're coming first for a reason. They were resilient, to say the least. So very good win there for Storm. Absolutely deserved this one. And Dolphins still playing very good footy. I think they'll be there in September. All right, next up, we've got the Warriors against the Titans at Seabus Super Stadium. I backed in the Warriors here, and I believe I said 1 to 12. I hope I didn't say 13 plus. And to be honest, I don't know why I tipped the Warriors. I think we all know why I tipped the Warriors. 89% of people agreed with me. Titans won this one 66 to 6. Yes, those numbers do not lie. 666. Not numbers you love to see, but I tell you what, if you're a Titans fan, you probably do. Very good win for the Titans. Disappointing result for the Warriors. It's not much more to say there, really. I thought, the Warriors were absolutely abysmal in this game. Titans absolutely deserved this. They were incredible. Kinney and Jaden Campbell really stood up in this game. They just ran rings around the Warriors. All right, next up, Roosters Bulldogs at Gosford. I went the Roosters in this one at home. Obviously, Gosford, but they played it. That was their home game. Anyway, tipped the Roosters in this one. I think I backed them 1 to 12 as well. They did win this one 18 points. A pretty high scoring weekend, or like margin-wise for teams. But very strong win for the Roosters. I thought they were very good despite losing a few players to the sin bin. I think there probably should have been a little bit more done to some of those players, but that's enough from me. I'm just glad I got a tip right here. I didn't think the Bulldogs played awful. I just think the Roosters outclassed them, and they deserve that win. All right, next up, my Rabbitohs took on the Sea Eagles at Accor Stadium. I thought the Rabbitohs were really good in this game, especially defensively. They were a bit flat on attack, but it doesn't matter when you don't let your opponents score a try. So I was very proud of the defense. I think every Rabbitohs fan has been critical of South Sydney's defense this season, and to see them keep a team to 0 was very refreshing. I did back the boys in 13 plus in this one, and they got that job done by 1 point there. So 14-point win. So got me margin by +1. So there we go. All right, to round out the weekend, I backed in the Raiders to beat the Tigers, as did 86% of people. Look, it's hard to tip in 2024. It really is. Tigers got the job done at 48 to 24. Two teams I do not know how to read this year, the Warriors and the Raiders. They're frustrating. They're so frustrating to tip. It is very difficult to tip both those sides, or tip against both those sides as well, to be honest, because they seem to just pull rabbits out of the hat occasionally and get wins, and then at the same time, the week after, they get absolutely pumped by a team they shouldn't. So, I don't know. But, good win for the Tigers there. Lockie Galvin was incredible in this game. So, moving on. Round 17. Let's get into it. So, for round 17, game 1. If it'll not flick down too much, we'll just go from here. All right, so Friday night footy, we've got the Bulldogs against the Sharks. Now, Cronulla do play pretty good footy against the Bulldogs in the last 9 games. Sharkies have won 7. They've actually won 6 of their last 6 games too. So won 6 in a row against the Dogs. Beat them by 19 points at the start of this year in round 2. Oh, the Dogs are tough, man. They're playing really good footy this year. They're one of the best defensive teams in the comp. Cronulla, they've been going all right, I guess. The last few games for the Sharkies, they didn't play this week. They lost last week to the Dolphins. The week before that, they beat the Broncos. Lost to Para, lost to Penrith, flogged by Penrith, and then beat the Roosters. They're a hard team to judge. They really, really are. Look, realistically, I think the Sharkies probably win this one, but I am going to back in the Dogs here. I'm going to say a 4-point win for the Canterbury Bulldogs, and I know that's probably going against what people are predicting, but the Bulldogs were pretty disappointing this week. I didn't think they were terrible, but I would say they were a bit disappointing. I think they need to work out their back line. Hopefully they get a few players back this week, and obviously they probably do welcome back Stephen Crichton if he backs up, which I think he will, which I believe is a massive inclusion for the Dogs. So, I do think the Dogs can bounce back this week. They're a much better team than we've seen over the last few years, so I do think they bounce back and get the win there. All right, next up, we've got the Warriors against the Broncos. In the last 5 meetings, the Broncos have won 2 games, Warriors have won 2 games, and there's been 1 draw. The Broncos won last time they met 26-22. The time before that was 20 points to 6. So, both these sides, this is definitely a game that either side could win. Now, the Warriors have lost a few games in a row, I believe. They lost to the Titans, Storm, and the Cowboys. So, yeah. Oh, sorry, they defeated the Cowboys, my apologies. Obviously lost to Melbourne last week, and then they backed it up with the big win over the Titans. So, But prior to the loss to Storm, they'd actually won 3 games in a row. They're a very difficult team to tip. I don't know. Broncos are on a bit of a losing streak as well, losing to the Titans, the Sharks, and then the Rabbitohs. They only just beat Manly by a point. I think the Warriors, that they owe their fans a big performance next week. I am going to back the Warriors at home there. I know that's a bold pick there, especially coming off a 66-6 loss to the Titans, but I really do think that they owe their fans, and I think they will deliver a big performance against the Broncos. All right, next up, we've got the Knights against the Eels, and the Eels have actually won 5 games in a row against the Knights, and they've been pretty convincing wins, especially the last 3, winning by 31 points last year, 37 points in 2022, 36 points in 2021. So that they do win quite convincingly over the Knights. So this is definitely a tough one to tip, because if I'm being honest with you, I think the Knights are somewhat playing better footy, despite a couple of, the big loss to the Dogs, but then there's been a couple of close losses to the Panthers and Storm. Before that, they got a good win, or pretty close win, against the Titans, and just defeated the Tigers. Based off form, you've probably got to go the Knights here. However, both teams haven't been great this season. It's a tough one to tip. I think at home, Newcastle probably win, but it would not surprise me if Para got the job done. But I'm going to go the Knights. I think that's the safe option for now. That tip definitely could change, especially with this is tough. This is difficult. I just don't know. I thought they were pretty good against Penrith and Melbourne as well, to be honest, despite the losses. I'm going to stick with the Knights here, but that definitely could change before kickoff, and I will let you know if that does change before kickoff. Next up, Storm against the Raiders. Obviously the Raiders are actually pretty good against Storm, although in the last 6 games, Storm have won 5 of their last 6 against the Raiders by a pretty handy margin in all those games as well. They've all been double-digit wins. 2022, the Raiders did defeat the Storm by 4 points. Last year, Storm beat the Raiders by 46. And the Raiders, coming off that loss to the Tigers, I do think they'll want to bounce back, but I just can't see it happening in Melbourne. I believe the Raiders actually have a pretty good record in Melbourne, though, but I am going to back in the Storm here. I do think they get the job done. All right, next up, we've got the Dragons, or the Dargans, as some might say, against the Dolphins. Both teams in decent form at the moment. Dolphins lost their last game to the Storm, very close game last week. And prior to that, the Dragons lost to Manly. It's a pretty disappointing loss after two pretty good wins over the Tigers and, pardon me, the Panthers the week before. I'm not going to lie. I do think the Dolphins win this one, though. I'm going to back in the Dolphins. I know it's at Net Strata Jubilee, but I do think the Dolphins, I think they will be too good in this one, so I am going to back them in. However, this is another game that I could definitely see going either way. All right, next up, we've got the Panthers against the Cowboys. Panthers, pretty good record. They have won 6 of their last 8 games against the Cowboys. Played pretty well against them at home, definitely. I don't actually think the Cowboys have beaten Penrith in Penrith for quite some time. So I think the Panthers, I think this one will be a pretty good win here for Penrith. Cowboys, they've been in pretty good form, to be fair. 4 of their last 5 games, they've won with a 34-16 win over the Raiders, 18-16 over the Roosters, 42-28 over the Tigers, and 28-22 against South Sydney. Obviously, Panthers are playing pretty good footy at the moment as well, though we all know how well the Panthers play. I think they will be too good there at home. All right, to round out the weekend, we've got the Roosters against the Tigers. If we see a Tigers outfit that played against Canberra, then I think the Tigers, I think they could give the Roosters a red-hot go. But the Roosters have won 5 games in a row against the Tigers, winning last season 32-8. The year before that, 72-6. 40-6 the year before that, 38-16 the year before that, and 24-16 the year before that. So convincing wins every year against the Tigers. I can't go past the Roosters in this one. I'll give the Tigers something. They were brave against the Raiders. They were very good, but I cannot see them beating the Roosters. I think it'll be a flogging. All right, so I'll give you a margin and a try scorer for each of these games. Bulldogs, obviously 1-12 over the Sharks. I am going to go, if he plays, Stephen Crichton anytime. Warriors over the Broncos. This one will be 1-12 as well. And I'm going to say, let's go Adam Fanua-Blake. Loves to score a try. I reckon he crosses. Knights, Eels, that's the Knights, 1-12 for me. And I am going to go Dane Gagai. He should be playing in this one, so I think he scores a try. Storm, Raiders, obviously backing in Storm here, and I do think they get the job done 13+. I know the Raiders are pretty good in Melbourne, but I think Storm 13+, and I think we will see a try from Ryan Pappenhausen. Dolphins 1-12 over the Dragons, Jermaine Osako, anytime try scorer. Panthers 13+ over the Cowboys, and I think we'll see Sunil Turuva, anytime try scorer for the Riff. And then the Roosters, 13+ over the Tigers. It's normally a 13+ win there. So I think that trend continues. And I think we will see Joey Manu cross anytime. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for me. Let me know your tips down below in the comments. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Remember, guys, hit that like button, hit that sub button. And as always, my friends, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.